यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव श्री राधा माधव की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितां येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषाभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Welcome everyone. Tonight Bhagavad Gita's class. We are reading from the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita entitled the universal form, text number 8, which is on the board. No, it's not. 10, 11. Actually, it's 12. We did 10, 11 yesterday, I remember. It should be 12. No, 12. I remember the repeated use of word many. That was Prabhu just said. So 12, it is on the screen. So please repeat after me. Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttita Yadibha Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhaved Yugapad Uttita Yadibha Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Divi Surya Sahasrasya Bhavet Yugapad Uttita Yadi Bhasadrisi Sasyad Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Bhavet Yugapad Uttita Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanaha Divi in the sky, Surya of suns, Sahasrasya of many thousands, Bhavet there were, Yugapat simultaneously, Uttita present, Yadi if, Bhaha light, Sadrishi like that, Sa that, Syat might be, Bhasaha effulgence, Tasya of him, Mahatmanaha the great Lord. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once in the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Purport. What Arjun saw was indescribable, yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelation to Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyas, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situation as far as it can be understood to an imaginable phenomenon, i.e., thousands of suns. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gunundinatarinam. So, we have been looking at the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, universe as a form. The present science idea of the universe is not that of a organ or how to say, a living body. That is not the picture of science in this day and age. They have no clue why planets are floating, why there are certain distances between planets, what is the function of it. In between the planets, there are many clouds. There are interstellar clouds in the sky, and there are different stars. Why is it out there? They say there is a vacuum. You cannot breathe. It is all space. So they have no clues to many, many things. And yet they try to study. And present society is accepting them as a authority. But the universe, as we know it from the Bhagavatam and from the Gita, is that a principle is there. And the principle is Yad Brahmande Tat Pindande. Do you know where this is from? Which Upanishad this is quoted from? Yad Brahmande Tat Pindande. As the Brahmanda, the cosmic egg of the entire universe, in the same way, this body is also made of the same principles. The body is often mentioned as a pinda anda, as a small egg, because it all starts from that situation. And therefore, it follows the same cosmic pattern in the body as, many, many patterns are there, from Bhagavatam. And the main thing what we're trying to understand from the Gita is not so much the cosmological explanation, yet more of consciousness. Consciousness is more important than knowing how many suns there are, how many clouds there are. There are some very interesting phenomena which have been seen by scientists. You want to know some funny phenomena they have seen in the universe, which correspond to what Bhagavatam says? Of course, they are non-veg people, scientists, and also non-alcoholics, so they like alcohol. So probably when they read the Bhagavatam, they read that there is a Sur Sagar, there is an ocean of liquor somewhere in space. And when I heard it for the first time, I was thinking, these people read our books, and therefore they are hunting for them. They have found a cloud in the sky, in the universe, and the chemical composition is that of rum and strawberry. The chemical composition of one of these nebula clouds in the universe is of strawberry rum. So that your Sur Sagar, your ocean of liquor, they found it, right? They won't look for ocean of milk. No. Ocean of alcohol. Yes. You can drink till eternity. They have found that cloud. You can, if you want, you can search for that strawberry rum nebula in space. And there is an ocean of fresh water also. They have found huge ocean. Many Earth planets can go in there. So many fresh distilled water. You can drink as much as you like. So these things are described in Bhagavatam. They're very interesting. But does it elevate our consciousness? Or does it make our consciousness alcoholic? Therefore, it is not so important to know how much alcohol is floating out there. It's more important that how can we utilize the principles of the cosmos to elevate our consciousness. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, because we are devotees of Krishna, we don't focus on this because it's not so attractive. You know, jivasya jivanam, that the principle of the cosmos is that one is surviving because the other, one eats the other, one digests the other, which is not a very nice form of the universal form. In Krishna's personal form, there's nothing like that, but still, I think about 5 chapters of the Bhagavatam is dedicated to the universal form. Purusha Sukta is describing the universal form. And also in the Gita, there are 2 chapters at least, 10 and 11th, which deal with the universal form. So we should not only be interested in Krishna's Rasa Leela, but also in Krishna's Srishti Leela, his creation pastimes, his cosmic pastimes. Then we can understand. We can derive actually a lot of interesting things, like last class I mentioned something about how the universal form is giving us clues how to manage human society. Varanashram, right? Brahmanos yamukhamasita. The Brahmins are situated in the face. Bahura janya kritaha, the protective, the government, the kings are situated in the arms. Was that Bahura janya kritaha uru tadas yayad vaishaha. Actually, this is uru. Here the Vaishyas are situated, not in the belly. The Vaishyas, the business class, producing class, are situated here. And Padbhyam Shudro Ajayata. These are verses from the Purusha Sukta, which is there in the 4 Vedas. So it is definitely that this is how ancient society, ancient Vedic society was thinking. We have deviated from that because of the invaders and the conquerors. But if you want to understand that how people were thinking in the past, we have to try to understand that they were able to apply these principles which we are finding in a universal form. And therefore everything was so well organized. So continue some of these principles which I was mentioning on Varanashram, the other class. And I continue if we can discover some more interesting clues of maybe problems we are struggling with in this modern society. And maybe we can find some direction in the universal form, how to go into that direction. So we mentioned the other day that Varanashram deals with somebody's psychophysical nature and also one's age. And this is a major issue in modern society, is that what is the use of old age? Why do we age anyway? And scientists are looking in the genes. Where is that switch? That if you turn it off, then old age is switched off and you remain eternally young. Where is that switch? You know, genealogy, genetics, right? Genetics is the encoded information in everyone's body. And they try to live eternally in this body. They want to live in eternal. So trying to find these clues. But actually, this is working against the principle of the universe, universal nature. We find everything is being recycled in the universe. So it should give us an idea that if this body is going to be recycled, that means that it is not given to live eternally on this planet. Oh, that should be the first lesson anybody should try to learn in school. That this body is temporary. Now I'm young and I'll become old one day. Why is that? If you look around, yes, when spring season comes, then all these beautiful, beautiful leaves come out. Vasanta Pallavi. Even people make dances and they make paintings. Vasanta means spring and Pallavi, fresh leaves. Beautiful to see. And then they ripen during the summer season. And then autumn comes, and in the West is generally October. Then they fall from the same beautiful tree. And in December and January, it's all like dead. There is no leaves. It's only cold, nothing to eat. And then it's like society has died. And then in spring, it takes birth again. And as a matter of fact, the ancient calendar was focused on it, that the first day of the year was in spring, not like we are calculating from January. You know these names? September. Sep means 7. October means 8. November means 9. So if you calculate back, November, 9, is that? November, and you have October, September, August, July, June, May, and then you have April, and you have March. And March is the first month is March. Let's see if you calculate back. This comes from the ancient thoughts, of the universal thoughts. And in March, yes, in March, spring starts. You see? In March, things become alive. March, February, March, like that. So we can see that this principle of living in harmony with nature was very much present in our ancients, in our past, in our ancestors, like that. So if you live according to the harmony of nature, you find certain patterns which will become obvious in nature. And it is like everyone has to grow old. And the season of this body is also something similar. If you take birth, then you have childhood. You can play around. Life is very much careless, no tensions, no stress. But then a little bit of stress starts coming when you hit the age of 14, 13, 14. Then you have to go to high school. You have to make homework, which you're not familiar with, and no more chocolate. And then your friends, they start complaining, we don't see you anymore on the street, why are you not playing? Wow, you have so much homework. And the teachers, they give you, all the teachers, they think that their subject is the only subject you have. And therefore they give so much homework. And they have to, like 1 hour for each subject, you have to do so much homework. Anyway, these things everyone has experienced. Life is going, and you become more responsible. And then you learn a subject, and you get a degree, and people will applaud you, you have a good job, you make career, and that's the goal of life, making career. And then all of a sudden, you comb your hair, and your hair starts coloring. Of course, mine is like gray. Some have gray hair by nature, so I don't know how they'll feel. But the first time I was doing like this, my shikha, and how did this Mataji's hair come into my head? I was thinking. Living in the West, right? The gray hair. Generally we think it's like silver color. Maybe so Mataji, maybe she dropped something. I thought, no, it is you. Am I growing really old? It goes like that. And in school, they teach you that the goal of life is that we become young eternally, right? There is no concern for old age and what you have to do with old age. You're not trained to become wise. And therefore, as soon as people retire from work, what do? What is life meant for? They have no guidance. You see? They learned in school that being beautiful and, she already died. I heard a lady, she invented, Barbie dolls. Barbie? Yeah. So Barbie dolls, in one sense, ladies like that form, but in another, someone complaining that Barbie means you have to be always very thin. It's really thin. Women cannot eat anything, to remain beautiful. They're complaining like that. They follow guidelines of ridiculous things, like Barbie. That means you are beautiful. The Vedic thought is different, how to be beautiful. But you don't learn these things. You just learn that you have to learn biochemistry, physics, mathematics, geography, history. And this way you'll become happy in life. And you will discover the goal of life. But I have no clue what's the goal of life. Though time itself is telling you what is the goal of life. Time is a force. First of all, what is time? Anybody likes to give a definition? What is time? What is time? Anybody has an idea? Because I asked this in university and in school programs, and I got some answers. I wanted to see what is your idea of time? See, we measure time with the clock and with so many things. But what is it that we're measuring actually? Sorry? Krishna. We're measuring Krishna. Countdown of your life. Sudarshan Chakra. What else do we measure? What is time? Sorry? Antaka. The ending, that which ends, that brings everything to an end. Is that time? right? But time also has other functions. It also starts new things, right? The starting, it also maintains things. So that's the problem. What is it that we're talking about? Especially in ISKCON, there's an issue. Nityavadha, Nitya Siddha. But that is cruel, eternally bound, and eternally liberated, right? It has to do with the concept of time. This argument and this dissatisfaction with the philosophy comes because somebody is defining time in their own way. We have to see what Prabhupada defines time with. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the smallest part of time is the distance the sun travels over a distance of a paramanu, right? From paramanu time to galaxial time. Paramanu is the smallest particle. You can say atom, but it's more smaller than that. That's the smallest particle of time. Now you see, it says the traveling of the sun. Bhagavatam says like that. So it indicates that time is also space, right? Minuscule space till the universal galaxy. That's the maximum span. And Prabhupada says in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, the time is the duration of the cosmic manifestation. The complete time is the complete duration of the cosmic manifestation. It basically means one breath of Mahavishnu. That is time. That's all time is. But it repeats itself. And therefore we humans, we see a repetition in there and therefore make a clock which repeats itself. And then we are measuring something, some repetitive movement, right? Like the cycles of breathing of Mahavishnu. That's what time is. But now see, if the definition of time, as Srila Prabhupada describes it, or what the Vedic literatures take as time, if that is the beginning of creation till the end of creation, that's time, then beyond that period, what is there then? Time starts with the creation, time ends with the destruction. What is after destruction then? What realm is that? Exactly, what is there? When the creation ends, then what remains? You see, and this is the problem. Our definitions are not clear, and therefore the philosophy is not clear. It's not just the Sanskrit is difficult of our philosophy, but we don't have clear concepts. Just like the other day I challenged, what is the definition of pure devotee? Anybody remembers what is a pure devotee? What is a pure devotee? Everyone was a pure devotee. Did I define it like that? If you quote me, you have to quote correctly. What is a pure devotee?
One who has achieved Krishna prema.
Okay, that's one definition. That means only only they are pure devotees. Everyone else is not a pure devotee. So everyone else is an impure devotee.
Yeah, that's great, but they are not spiritual. Yeah, they are not.
Fortunately, Prabhupada was asked by his disciples, well, Prabhupada, what do you mean by a pure devotee? They said only a Uttamadhikari, a Krishna Premi. Prabhupada said, pure devotee can be first class, second class, third class. First class, second class, third class. This is at the end of one lecture when Prabhupada speaks. If you like the reference, I can give you, but you have already so many things you can refer to, even better than I do. I use everything. I still use my brains, I don't use my mobiles because antakalecha mameva smaran muktva. I have to use this, not antakalecha mobile even smarakta. No, this we have to memorize, right? Slokas have to go here, to digest it. Because we have the tendency, I got it on my mobile, so I know it. Oh yes, you know it? Yeah. No, it should be in you. You walk around with that knowledge. So that means, first class means Uttama Adhikari, one who can see Krishna everywhere and in everyone. He is a pure devotee. But also a Madhyam Adhikari, who can feel the love of somebody else in the heart, right? And he also can feel envy in other people's hearts, who can also see somebody is less advanced and somebody is more advanced. That's a Madhyam Adhikari. He is also a pure devotee. And then a Kanishtha who is faithfully worshipping the deity and has faith in spiritual master's instructions, but has difficulty respecting others. He is also a pure devotee. First class, second class, third class. So therefore, no matter what definition we take, but if you take the definition of the Acharya, that would be better because it will give a harmonious understanding of Prabhupada's books, right? Otherwise, if you have your own definitions and you read the books and so many contradictions, not true, no, it's not like this. And make your understanding, surrender your understanding to the understanding of the Acharya. That has to be understood also. We come with our intellect, with our PhD, with our Sanskrit knowledge, with our science knowledge, we come to the books and we think we have understood it. But we had here towards contradictions. So it actually indicates that one whose motivations are pure, he is a pure devotee. And that is also translation difficulty here. Shuddha bhakta. Shuddha bhakta charanarenu bhajanayo anukul. So if you translate Shuddha bhakta as pure devotee, yeah, it's a literal translation. But it's not the same indication as there is in the Sanskrit or in the Bengali. And therefore then things become a little bit more difficult. Now time has to be considered in the same way. Before the creation started, what was there? And after the creation ends, what was there? If you can visualize that realm, that existence which is beyond time, then you can understand what he means by Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha, eternally bound. When he enters the state where there is no time, where time ends, material time, and he's still bound, then he enters the Nitya realm, the dimension where there is no time, and therefore he's called the Nitya Baddha. And as time starts again from the creation, then he is within this time span, right? Like that. So it doesn't mean Nitya means eternal, because time itself is not eternal. So how can the jiva be eternally bound? So one has to understand things in line with the understanding of the Acharya, and then things become more clear. And now also this form, which we are discussing here, the Virat form, the universal form, how everything is linked with it, with each other, is to be understood in that same light. It is the Virata Roop, the universal form, which is responsible for this dividing the society according to one's psychophysical nature into the four varnas. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That is how it is made in the creation. And no ifs or buts, you see. You might criticize it, but if you criticize it, you're criticizing actually the entire universe, right? It says there that the Brahmins were born from the face, the Kshatriyas or the government from the arms, and so therefore the arms should listen to the head, right? And also the Vaishyas should listen to the head, like that. If the head is not there, then nothing functions. You might have something wrong with your arms or something wrong with your middle part, but if the head doesn't function, nothing can function. So it is by this principle, it's that the society should be guided by the intellectuals, the Brahmins, and then things can go better. As we mentioned that the character building of humanity starts also with cultivation of that knowledge. As I mentioned, when you realize that life on earth is not meant to be eternal, but temporary, and there is only coming and going, then it dawns upon an intellectual or an intelligent person that I'm not here, I'm not meant to be here for eternity. Life is like coming and going. It's like a transit. You're going, like you go to China via Delhi, then a flight will land in Delhi, and for a few hours, you have to wait till you get the connecting flight. So that period where you are waiting to connect is called a transit. And it's not for eternity. Somebody thinks, oh, I'm there. No, I'm gonna marry in transit. I'm gonna get kids in transit. They build my house in transit, which is only for a few hours. Is that intelligent? They do actually. The airports are so luxury that you can sleep here, you can eat here. There's a restaurant, and all kinds of things. But it's only transit. You see, nobody who's intelligent will think, I'm gonna build my life, become happy in transit. But people do, because they haven't learned that life is a transit. But those who have learned and understood life is a transit, they are called Aryans. They know we have come from somewhere, and there is another destiny for me to go, not to stay here. And therefore, I have to work for my next destiny. And those who work for their next destiny, they're called Aryans. Those who are trying to become spiritually elevated. And because of this view, then Vedanta philosophy starts, then real life, real knowledge starts. If you don't have this view, that life is a transit, you cannot think properly. Because if you're going, if life is actually a journey, it's not a stay, then who's driving the car? Who's driving the car of your life? Right? Is there enough air in your tires? Is there enough fuel in your car? How expert are you in reading the traffic signs? Right? And what speed are you driving at? Isn't it? That means all you have to take care of your life's journey. Are you aware of that? How much air do you have? Anybody knows? How much air do you have in your tires? It says that the lifespan of somebody is measured by the amount of breath you get, about the pranayamas, breath intake. So now I have spent one of the millions of breath intakes I got from Krishna. So my life is reducing. So if you do kumbhaka, stop the breathing, you can increase your lifespan 600, 700, 800, 1,000 years. That's yoga, right? So this is your air. How much do you have left? Do you know that? Parikshit knew. 7 days only. How much air do you have left? Okay. How much fuel? Right? How much fuel do you have? What does fuel do? Fuel is power. You push the gas and so how much fuel do you have in your life? How long is your ojas, your tejas gonna work? You know, it is so how to say? It is so discouraging. It's so making you sad when you look in the window in the mirror every morning, and the skin starts to become like a dried apple, and monkey lines appear. You thought, okay, I may be over 50, but but I shouldn't look like over 50. You know, nobody should be able to. But gradually, also that is reducing. The fuel is reducing, right? The car cannot run so fast anymore. Energy is lessening. This little thing has to be used because the eyes don't have enough power to see without it. You see, these are all special adjustments because the fuel is reducing in the body. Can you run as fast as you could run when you were young? Fuel is running out. You know, and you have to adjust because when you look at the traffic signs of your youth, there were no traffic signs. You can run as you like. I'm going to conquer the whole world. The whole world. I will make my own traffic signs and conquer the entire world. You know, I don't know how you felt like, but when I was 14, I'm going to do it. I'm going to really. This world is not, so difficult to conquer. I'm going to shape it the way I like. I'm going to make. But now it's like I've been humbled. I've been humbled in front of the world that I have to listen to the traffic signs now. The first hernias are showing, listen, you're not young anymore, you're not 16. Digestion is slowing down, you need some extra pepper, right? Eyes don't work the same way as it used to work without glasses. And I used to write very small, like font 7, I used to write all my notes to keep it compact. But when I hit 40, I said, what is this? I can't read my notes anymore. And I had to rewrite everything. You see? Traffic signs. Like that. And then also, some of his traffic signs, they are very bitter traffic signs. They're telling you, when first your grandmother dies, your auntie dies, other people leave you, your turn is next. So it's not so much that as devotees we fear that we have to die, because we know our next journey, our next destiny will be better. But this sense of losing something, the sense of relationships breaking, that pain, these are also traffic signs of life, and you have to deal with them. You can't avoid it. And some of these traffic signs can be very cruel. A little baby who died, a little girl which died, some accident happened. So you learn that life can be, like they say, it's hanging on a silken thread. Anytime something can happen, and you can never, predict what will happen. So it just seems like, why is life like this? It is exactly showing you why it is like that. You're not meant to stay here. Prepare yourself for your next destiny. So one who sits and only laments, he's a Shudra, according to the Virata Purusha, according to the universal form. And one who's an optimist, so, I don't have to stay here and pay tax my whole life. I can, prepare my life to go to a better place. So let me do that. How do you do it? And you go to the Brahmins and you ask and they tell you, Yagyadana tapah karmana tyajam karyam evatat. Yagyodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Even the great pure sages, they are purified by yagya, sacrifice, dana, donation, tapaha, austerity and karma. Then you can get your higher destination. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jagana gunavrittistha, adho gachanti tamasa. This is the clue. If you want to direct your life, directions are very important. Then you take your directions of goodness, then you go up. But if you're not interested, you want to enjoy this world, then madhye tishtanti rajasa, you remain on the same platform. And if you don't care for anything, tamogun, then you go adho gajanti tamasa. You go to lower levels of consciousness, like under the earth. So this is all very clear if you read the Virata Purusha. It's describing why life is meant for. So when you tend to become old, what is the purpose of old age then? As youth has a purpose, education, and adulthood has a purpose. What is the purpose of old age? Anybody has a clue? What is the purpose of your old age?
In old age you get detached from the body, so it's much more easier to let go.
To let go is the goal of old age. What is the goal of old age? Anybody has any other idea why old age is given? Huh? You? No? See? And this is the thing. If we as devotees don't have a clue, what are we going to teach to the people? Right? So, there is a saying in Dutch, I think it's the same saying in English also, that wisdom comes with old age. You're supposed to become wise. Now, what is wisdom? In this day and age, people have PhDs, they have masters, but are they wise? They are not wise. So what is wisdom? Right? You can't buy it in school. It seems you can't buy it in school. Where can you buy wisdom? You go to a shop, a wisdom shop, say, sir, I have here 200 euros. Can you give me 200 euros of wisdom? Is that possible? Where you can get wisdom? What is wisdom? Before you buy it, you have to know what it is. It might give you a cat in a bag, You open. What's this? A black cat. This is not wisdom. Sir, you go back, to the shop. Sir, you didn't define what you wanted. You said wisdom, so I just filled it in, the blanks and put it in with the cat and I give it to you. You don't even know what yourself you're looking for. What is wisdom? So you can't blame the shop. It's the seller even if you don't know, right? There's a funny story behind this is that once upon a time, there was a cobbler, not a cobbler. What is that? No, two ministers. That's the story, I guess. Maybe you know the story better. It's from the Hitopadesh, something like that. There's these two ministers who were had a fight, and they wanted to make the other one have some trouble and get in jail. So he went to the king and said, he stole the diamond. He stole my diamond. He should be put in jail. So, what evidence do you have? Do you have any evidence for this? You have witnesses. I have two witnesses, one cobbler and one carpenter. Okay. So they brought in the cobbler and the carpenter. You have seen him stealing the diamond? Yes, 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 I seen this stealing the diamond. You? Yeah, I have seen this stealing the diamond. So the other minister was very sad. Now he would have to be put in jail. But then a third minister was very intelligent, like Vidur said that, my dear king, just wait for some time. I just want to hear these cobblers and these carpenters. So he brought them to a separate room and said, can you describe what the diamond looked like, which he stole? He said, yeah, I've seen it. So the cobbler started describing the diamond. It is like hard below and it's a little soft. You can bend it. It was very similar to a shoe. The cobbler described the diamond looking like a shoe. He never saw a diamond, so he only knows shoes. So he described that. So, oh, okay. Next one, a carpenter. Yeah, it's hard, not too hard, and you can shape it. It's useful, you can use it for so many nice things. So, it is not, you said semi-hard or something like that. Yeah, it's very, it is a very, very costly and you can make nice things. It sounds very much like wood. So the minister, no, these are not witnesses. These are just paid. He told the king that no, this is not they haven't seen it. There's no witness. So in this way he got saved. So when you go to the market, you have to know what you're buying. So we went, before we incarnated in this life, went to the Supreme Lord or some Devata, said, I want to have a life on earth, in which I can learn. So you agreed. Well, what are you going into with them? What did you agree with when you incarnated before this, when you got this life, right? So you have to know, what did you buy? And when you bought the ticket for this life to incarnate, somebody was born in Bengal, somebody was in Holland, somebody was born in Iran, somebody in Russia. When you got your ticket, okay, next life, next destiny, Russia. Next destiny, Iran. So then how did you agree with that? Did you read the small letters also? How life will go? What lessons you have to learn? The fact that we cannot answer these fundamental questions of our own life, it means we're not very good readers or not very good educated. Before you use something, before you go into some agreement, you should know what you are going to do with that life. So therefore, think of it. Why did you come? What is the direction you have to go? What are the traffic signs? How much gas, how much water, how much air do you have in your lifespan? When you know that, only then you can have a good journey, right? If you don't know how to drive, you don't know how much air, how much water, how much fuel's in your life, in your car, how can you drive properly, right? So that's very important. Old age is meant for wisdom. Wisdom, as we read in the Svirata form, is actually understanding the flow of time. One who can understand the flow of time, he's considered to be wise. So understanding the flow of time means you have experienced more time. And you're elder, in other words. You have seen the structure, that life is like this. When you take birth, you're a kid. And if you're a kid, you better listen to the elders, because then you're safe. Otherwise you can get really into trouble. And when you hit puberty, then there is only butterflies and roses and moonshine and romance and stuff like that. It comes up, you can't help it. Everyone has it. So if somebody comes around, I don't understand, Ma, I feel very strange now. It wasn't there before. Something came into my heart. I don't know what it is. I know, son. You falling in love with that girl. Is that love? What is this, Ma? I never had this before. It's so innocent and so nice. But this is how, it's part of life. You train them. No, this will happen. You control yourself. It's not so important. The importance comes when you want to get married. Don't do a law of marriage because it breaks. More than 90% of the law of marriages, they break. This is the siksha you have to give if you are wise, right? If you experience time, you're supposed to give this education to them. That how do you get married? If you want to have a relationship, you have to base it on dharma. Mom, why dharma? Dharma is boring. Who says dharma is boring? Listen, son, there are 4 pillars of life. There are dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. There is this, the rules of maintenance. Why can you say, how would you define dharma? Dharma you can define like dharma rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect dharma, dharma will protect you. So protection you get by dharma. Dharma is maintenance, dharma is protection, dharma is duty, like that. So Mother will explain, this is a pillar upon which you can rest. Right? It's a stamba, is a stable foundation for life to build upon. Artha, wealth, comes and goes. It flows in and flows out. And the very definition of artha is also chanchala. Lakshmi is chanchala. So can you build a house on a fundament which is flowing? Like in Mayapur, they had this idea of the TOPV. We'll build a raft. You know raft? We built a raft on water and on mud. And the temple will go up when there is water and will go down if the water goes down. It never happened. Because it's also good that it never happened. What if the balance would go out of balance? Then what? Then you had the Tower of Pisa, in Mayapur. No. It's better to make a strong foundation. So because artha, wealth, is not fixed, it's always flowing, it cannot be a foundation for your life. Kama, desires, you fall in love, and you want to make your life, house of life, based on that. Is it possible? Kama is even more fluid and liquid and floating than artha even. Because you could fall in love, you fall out of love, my dear son. Is it like that? Yes. Today's love can be tomorrow's hate, and it breaks. So don't trust your desires. Moksha. Is moksha a strong foundation? Is moksha floating? It is not. Moksha is very stable. Once attained, you don't have to come back. So therefore, if you want to have a good foundation for life, and you want to have a stable life, if you want to have some other kind of life, changing all the time and crying and saying, Ma, I don't have enough money, you can do something like that. But I'm not your banking. I'm not going to save your money. You have to do it yourself. So better you found yourself on dharma. So then how does dharma work? Dharma works by having knowledge first, and then following the rules of dharma. Yaha shastra vidhimutsrijya vartate kamakarata na sasiddhim savapnoti na sukham na param gatim. If you don't follow the scriptural rules, you will not get perfection, neither happiness, and neither the absolute highest goal. So then, how does marriage work? If you want to have a relationship, you first check if it is there in destiny that you're meant to live with each other. How do you check destiny, ma? Destiny means you can read the time. Are there time readers? Yes, there are time readers. They're called astrologers. And there are even better time readers. They're called sadhus and rishis. They don't need to calculate. They can see whether you fit or not. So let us invite some of the sadhus and get advice. And in this way, they can safeguard your future life with your partner. And, it's very funny. In a far out country like Suriname, which is in the north of Brazil, far, far away. How farther can you get from India than that? And yet, there people follow Jyotish when they want to get married. And if they cannot find a good astrologer, they try to come in contact with the sage, a sadhu, because they still have this faith. According to Vedic cosmology, Latin America and South America are considered to be Patala, right? Patal. If you turn India north, automatically South America comes down, The Earth globe is like this. If you turn like this, India on the North Pole, then you find that Latin America, that area, becomes Patal. And yet people have a lot of faith in that. It used to come to me when I was there. Can you see, Sadhuji, if we can have a relationship with this girl, if it will be fixed? It used to come to me for marriage advice. It's very funny, so far away from Bharata Desha, and yet people have so much faith. So if you can read the time, it doesn't have to be astrology all the time, but also experience that life goes like that. Then you will grow into an adulthood. You have to maintain a family. You can take up responsibilities that you also have to train your children in. Then they will appreciate that actually my mother and my father were wise. They had wisdom. They knew why they were saying things. They were not just saying, oh, because I have heard it like that, you have to do like this. No, they can actually convince me with logic and science. They are really wise. They have experienced it. And they were sharing their experience with me. Yes, now I know what to do. And it sounds logical, and I can also see it. It's going to happen like this. And that is wisdom. And one who has more of it, he's wiser. Right? So you can imagine if by meditation or whatever process, you can read past lives. They have wisdom of 300 years. You know what's going to happen. You could see the Second World War, the First World, why it happened, how humanity was suffering. You can see everything in detail. What was your life when you were there? Anybody has any idea? What was your, where were you in 1940? Where were you around 1900? It's part of you. It's part of your self-realization. Sorry to say, but this is also part of self-realization. It's not just that, oh, I will having my Swarup with Krishna, that's it. No. Why did you come to this place, leaving that place? Because you wanted to learn. So when you go from here, you'll take all these lessons with you, isn't it? So if Krishna asks you, tell me, where were you in 1800? What kind of body, what kind of place you were, right? It's part of your self-realization. And if you can, whatever way you can get back that knowledge, you are really wise. You've experienced it all. And then you say, Aranare Bab. Aranare Bab means, my dear father, not again. I don't want to go there back again. I've experienced everything, I'm tired. So this is all there in the Virata form. Again and again you will find that in one place Arjuna is seeing past, present and future. He's seeing everything which is possible there. That means he could see his past life. And Krishna mentioned that Bahunime Vatitani Janamani Tavacharjuna Naham, what is that? Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Veta Parantapa. Oh, my dear Arjun, both you and me have lived many, many lives. I can remember all of them, but you not. In other words, therefore you fall in Maya and I do not. So, if you could see, understand, and there are many clues in your psychology, clues in your body, your feelings, they all indicate your past and also your future. You just have to be looking inward, not outward. You will not find these answers in Köln somewhere. You'll find them inside. It's up to you to train yourself. And once you get trained in that, life becomes very easy. And therefore I end here. Any questions? Or comments? To make life more easy. I would say, Virat Roop ki jai.
Why Krishna build Dwarka on the sea or on the ocean?
Aha. Why would Krishna build Dwarka on the ocean? If you say that the ocean is not a stable foundation. Because Krishna has a nice rasa with non-stable foundations. Because he danced on the hood of Kalia, showing I can dance even when the ground is not stable. Can you do that, my dear gopis? Next Rasa Leela will be on Kalia's hoods. You want to join me? Same way, he's showing that what nobody can do is like a recall from Ramachandra's pastime. Is there any Kshatriya who can build a bridge on the ocean? Is there anybody in humanity who could build a bridge on the ocean? See, last life I built a bridge across the sea. Now I have built a city on the sea. Can you do that? Jarasandha came, Jarasandha, the king of Bihar, attacking him again and again. So Krishna is doing all these kind of things. He is showing for him, if you take it like that, for him, Artha and Kama is also stable. For him, it doesn't work like that. He can always have his desires fulfilled. He has no lack of money. So he can also build a city in the ocean. I answered it according to Bhava. This is Bhavartha. I have no scriptural reference for, but this is called Bhavartha. How to say Bhavartha in English? You give a meaning according to feeling, according to rasa, like that. Is it okay? Bhavartha.
For protection?
Protection was one thing. Cities, generally Vedic cities are surrounded by water. Like they have these, you have these ramparts, and behind these ramparts there is this moat. A moat is a square body of water, and generally they put all kinds of crocodiles and ferocious animals in there, so that if you want to go into the city, you cannot. Yeah, although the whole ocean was Krishna's moat, so like that. But he didn't flee because of Jarasandha or Kaliyavan. He didn't become Ranchor out of that, you know. That's not out of fear. Yeah, Shalya had to come with an airplane, actually with an UFO. He came to attack Dwarka, because otherwise by water he would not be able to enter. So he got this Saubha Vimana, this airplane blessed by Shiva, and it was firing lightning. So there he came, flying. All of a sudden, there's a UFO above Dwarka. Let's attack it! Everyone took his divyastras and shooting at it. So that was Shalya. And yes, a Vedic city can be attacked in that way. Yeah, that's a consideration out of politics. Samdana Bhedadanda, how to protect the city. You need water surrounding. That's the ancient way of protecting. Yes, that could be one reason. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.